The U.S. Meat Export Federation's spring conference taking place in Kansas City, Missouri. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network. This report brought to you by Nebraska Corn, working with U.S. Meat Export Federation to contribute more than $166 per Nebraska corn acre grown. Had the opportunity to catch up with Nebraska's own David Bruntz, as of course he is the Secretary-Treasurer of USMEF this year, and he talked about the conference as a whole.
Yes, they said it's record attendance here in Kansas City. Great location right in the center of corn country and livestock production and the packing industry. All these people that are members of USMEF, it's kind of in the heart. There's good access, whether they're driving or flying. So we're having record attendance, and as you said, that says a lot about USMEF and the respect that they've earned over the years.
A lot of information came out of that opening session, stuff that you'll be able to kind of digest for weeks to come.
Oh, yes. We started off with our chairman of USMEF, Randy Sprunk. They have a large hog operation, him and his brother and family in Minnesota. And then Dan Holstrom, our CEO and exec of USMEF, gave a report on how exports are going and how the pork is setting new numbers both in volume and in retail end. And beef exports on volume are down a little bit, but the dollars that are coming out of the beef exports are growing again this year, which really tells how people around the world look at corn-fed beef from the USA. It sets us above everybody else. There's grass-fed, there's grain-fed, and then there's corn-fed. And I feel that corn-fed that's just the extra step it takes to have a premium product that we're able to export.
What did you, and Dan too, as he spoke, he brought such good, strong information just to show the continued work that's happening all across the world and the pushing of exports of U.S. product.
Yeah, we have staff around the world, about 90 staff that are located in 20 offices around the world. So we're a pretty lean machine. But those staff members are natives of the countries they work in. They have good relationships with the finest chefs in those countries. And USMEF has built a reputation for honesty and bringing good things to the table that they can market to their people in their culture. Things that fit into their culture, and that's very important in all these different markets.
Talked about keynote, and Kip Tom just really, I think the room was very intrigued with what he had to say and the dynamics of not only the slides that he shared, but the wealth of information that he brought.
Yes, he had a nice presentation. He's a former ambassador for agriculture and food around the world, so he has a lot of experience behind him, and he did a nice job. And as you said, the room was full and the room was quiet. Nobody wanted to miss anything. What
was your takeaway? Kind of talk a little bit more about that, of what he had to say that kind of really caught your attention.
Oh, I guess not for sure what the premium takeaway would be. I guess it's just he told us how it affected him when he was in Africa and they were helping to feed these small children that went to bed at night without having anything in their stomach. And he said it just changes your life and changes your priorities. So, and that's, the food insecurity in some of these countries is unbelievable. We just really, unless you've traveled there, you don't realize it.
And it's great that countries like the United States make and have such a great product that they're able to help share and help fill some of these relief effort needs as well.
Yes, he did talk about that, and I think one of the things he said that years ago there was maybe a lot more dollars, plus those dollars went a lot further years ago. And so there's probably been a retraction in the ability to do some of that. One, things cost more, and apparently the dollars aren't coming quite as freely as they had at former time. But yet humanitarian efforts do bring the best out in people.
General session, as it continued, had two other great speakers that were talking. Let's talk a little bit more about that.
Yes, we had Dan Whitley. He's the administrator of USDA Foreign Ag Service. Excellent speaker. His knowledge of what goes on around the world and how U.S. dollars are used to promote products and how USDA or how the Foreign Ag Service sets up at these different shows around the world to help USMEF market our products around the world. The relationship that's been built with him, between him and USMEF, is he remarked several times about how good it is, and so he can help support what we want to do, and also helps us when we're putting a request in for dollars from USDA, like FMD's money or things like that. And the newest program out is the RAP program, Regional Agricultural Promotion Program. So USMEF will receive quite a sum of money for that, and most of that is in these underdeveloped countries. So again, we'll be able to increase our efforts in Africa to move more product into their food chain to help the people in Africa. And our employee that works the African office, he was talking Tuesday evening in an opening session, and he said the average age of the consumer in Africa is 17 years old. So you're looking at a young group of people that are just at the climax of consuming protein, beef, pork, and lamb. And then they're also going to be building families. So the opportunities and the growth that we're going to see in that country are off the charts. Yeah, we had Randy Block from CattleFax talking about where we are in the cattle cycle and the rebuilding that hopefully if Mother Nature continues to give us the right signals, that we'll have moisture, we'll have grass, and we'll have water to water these animals out in these pastures, that we might be a year away yet from rebuilding, but hopefully that is on the horizon to rebuild our beef herd. But even though our numbers are down, we've been feeding these cattle several days longer, maybe 2 weeks, so we're growing them a little larger every year. So our meat production is not down as much as our numbers are. And so that's just a sign of the market that sometimes you're better off to feed the one you have than it is to buy another one at the time.
Is there any concern, and did he mention it, or just in your perception, that we might be short when it comes to meeting those demand requests from foreign countries because of the herd pullback we've had?
That is a possibility, but we're also seeing undervalued cuts that have been undervalued in the past that are moving into those markets. And there's always new ways of using these products that fit into their culture or into their food chain. So, yeah, we may be short in some of them areas, but we're going to continue to promote in those areas because we don't want to lose what we've gained. So we're going to stay on the forefront and do marketing programs in these foreign markets so that as our herd rebuilds, we can fill that supply chain. Because right now, they also talked about that the cold storage in these foreign countries is down from what it historically has been. So, yeah, they're feeling it around the world. But as I said, as far as the beef side is, they're aware of the quality of U.S. corn-fed beef, and they're willing to pay a higher market price.
David, I think that really goes back to the work that USMEF does to help with research dollars and different things to find some of these different cuts and to utilize very underutilized options for these animals. Yeah,
that's true. That as they take these beef round would be one of the underutilized cuts, and there's value in there if they take it apart into the different muscles that are built into a round, and it's just a matter of finding ways to use it and making new products that fit into the different countries.
Powerhouse Thursday panel. That was very intriguing to listen to these 5 women up there talk, and just really the outlook and the positivity that is there for this industry in all the proteins.
Yes, there was 5 young ladies on the panel this morning, 4 of them from USMEF, and talked about what they're doing in the countries that they help with the exports into. Erin Boer, our economist from USMEF, she was kind of in charge of that, and they had quite a program on what's going into these markets and how they're contacting the consumers and using social media and things like that. When COVID struck, our staff was very nimble, and they changed from the face-to-face operations and went to using more social media. And it's proven to be a good thing for them. So they continue to publicize a lot of things on social media, and it just allows them to contact more people.
Talk a little bit about your role. Can't finish up this conversation without the fact that right now you are the Secretary Treasurer for USMEF, and you've done great so far for this organization, but some exciting things yet to come.
Well, thank you for that. Yes, I'm the Executive Treasurer of USMEF. Hopefully I can fulfill that position and the ones that lie ahead of me and continue to do the work and carry the ball forward as the predecessors ahead of me. We've had great leadership in USMEF. We have a great officer team, and so we've got corn and beef producers, we got a pork producer, we got a packer. I mean, it's just really broad. We kind of can talk about anything amongst us.
David Bruntz talking from this year's USMEF Spring Conference. I'm Susan Littlefield on the Rural Radio Network.